Welcome back. Okay, so we'll be moving on to creating solid and shape layers. So what you want to do is obviously you have your composition created, and you just um, want to go to layer, which this is the long way, by the way, just so you know. Go to layer, new, solid. It will give you this pop-up window right here. So for solid, you can always rename it to whatever name you want. I'll still use Larry. You can change the width and the height. You can lock the aspect ratio. You can change the unit from pixel to inches, and whatnot. This make come size. What it means is sometimes you have your solid not to be as wide as your composition size. So if you want to make that really work perfectly, all you want to do is just click make comp size right there, and you can also always change the color. You can always change the color of your composition, of your solid. So let's use red for this example. So once I click OK, and by the way, if you ever have this error notification looking like, just like you see, refresh disabled, release caps lock to refresh view. So just turn off your caps lock and you'll be fine. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, so this is your solid right here. Solid, as simple as it looks, oh my god, what this would do for you as a motion designer, it's unlimited, it's endless. What you can do with a solid. So just imagine your solid to be a sheet of paper that you pretty much just can fold, anyhow you want it. And it's so crazy that as much as you fold it, you can also add effects to it. You can change the color, you can animate it, and you can do so much with your solid. So don't mind me, I get so much in character. But yeah, this solid, like I said, anything that has to come into the composition will always have these transform properties, which is your anchor point, your position, your scale, your rotation, and your opacity. Like I said again, your anchor point, your rotation, your opacity, your scale, and your position. I purposely just put things in rearrangement. So once you get the hang of those, it will make animation also like easier for you. But anyways, let's get to it. So as you can see, you can move it, you can move it up and down as well. That was left and right. You can scale it. You can scale it however you want. You can rotate it, as you can see. You can change the opacity from 0 to 100. So sky's the limit, man. And as the course goes on, you'll see more things that your solid layer can do for you. Well, yeah, so that's the solid layer right there. And one last thing I'll show you about the solid layer is how you can also pop up the window for it to set it up with a shortcut. So let's say I delete that. So the shortcut for it is Command or Control Y. So Command or Control Y will pop it up. And say you already have it in your composition and you just want to edit the current solid that you have. You just press Control Shift Y. Control Shift Y will pop up on that screen again, so you can. So this is not a new solid you're trying to create. You're trying to edit the one you already have, because if it was a new solid, it would be Control Y. Don't forget that. Control Shift Y will just pop up the existing one. So That's it for solid layers. So now let us move on to shape layers. I'll delete that right there. Let's move on to shape layers. So shape layers, I think the greatest motion graphers, they use shape layers a lot for the 2D animation. I'll be honest, I don't even know everything about shape layers yet because it's just so much. It's a lot. But anyways, let's get on to it and let me just show you what shape layer does. So shape layer, you can also go to layer, new, you see right there shape layer, click on it, you would see pretty much nothing, but inside your timeline, in your layer, you see it's called shape layer. So what this means now is that it already has its property right there, but it's just waiting for you to kind of draw something out so you can see it. So right now, by default, I have on my mask tool, because it kind of works with the mask tool. So now I have a rectangle tool picked out. So if I draw out something, it will create a rectangle or a square, depending on however I drag it out. So let's say we created the rectangle, or we can even change it to a circular shape, ellipse. So for you to create a perfect circle, just hold on to shift, you can see right there, and if you want to move it, hold on to spacebar right there. So as you can see, we created a circle now, but you can see it has a white outline and a red inner. So if you're wondering, can I change the color of this thing, or why does it have a white outside of it, which is gonna be your stroke, right? If you look up here, you'll see where you have your fill, which is this red right here, as you can see the color, and you have your stroke, which is the white, as you can see here. If you see the number of the stroke, it's 2. So imagine if I increased it to like 10. You see how it increases? Even if I do like 100, you see how it increases? So you can play with this as well, however you want. So that's that. You can also change the color, see, so however, any kind of color that you want. You can also change the stroke color, so however you want. So it's just, it's very limitless. And one thing you also should know is, what if I don't want the stroke? So if you don't want the stroke, you just click on the stroke letter reading out itself. It's clickable. So once you click on it, you'll see the pop-up screen that says stroke options. So in the stroke options, you'll see none, which is when it takes out the stroke completely, or you see you see a solid color, which is what will wrap around your fill color. It also has a gradient where you can kind of start a brighter color and it fades away using the same color, or you can even go on to the separate colors, but that's like linear gradient. It also has a radial gradient, so that is when you kind of have like a more concentrated color on one side, and as it moves out, as it spreads out, it begins to like reduce in size depending on however you tweak it. So that's that with this the shape layer, for like creating a new shape layer. And if you look down here, your shape layer, as we're talking about like the stroke, you still have more options right down here, which will be more on the more advanced class. But yeah, let us just for now, with the stroke, you can always add dashes. You can add any amount of dashes that you want. You can reduce it, you can increase it, you could even offset it. You can also I believe make it rounded right there. But cap, that's like the default that you have. You can change the stroke size, you can see this is how some cool animations can be made, like just right there. We've not even gone into animation. So there's just, the limitation is just endless. There's just so much you can make with these things. And it has your feel right there. You can always change the color, like I said, change it. You can also reduce the opacity of it. You could also, as you can see, change the position. You can scale it up, as you can see. You can scale it, you can skew it, which I really don't know what you use that for anyways. The skew also comes with like axes and all that. You can rotate, and this is not even the transform properties that originally comes with the layer. This is just the properties that comes with the shape layers. So you can imagine, like I said, what motion, like professional motion graphics do with this shape layers. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I said, I don't even know. Like I don't know, but it's a lot to learn with shape layers. But anyways, lastly about shape layers, you can also add some properties, some advanced properties right here to it. A good one would be to mess with the stroke. Let me change back the stroke here from the dashes. I'll just take it out. I increase the width. I'll put it back to like say 10. It's on 10. So now let us go back to the add where I said it's a little bit more advanced. So if you go to add right here, you see some properties here, and these properties down here, they're kind of categorized into 4, but this third one's right here, oh my gosh, you don't want to imagine what you can do with that. So let's take trim path for example. If you click on trim path, you can see we'll be messing with the stroke, right? So on trim path right here, you want to go to the menu now. It's added trim path as part of the properties now. So click on trim path. You can see now you can tell it where to start or where to finish. Oh, I'm so sorry. So guys, what's happening I believe is that with this, for you to add a property to a shape layer, I don't think it can carry the solid at the same time as the stroke. I believe you can add the advanced properties. So let's try. Let's kill the we set none for the fill. So now we only have the stroke, right? And let's try the trim path on it now. So as you can see, do you see that? I don't know if you can see it. I'll turn this off and I'll reduce the scale. Let me reduce the scale. So as you can see, let me increase the width. So let's go back to trim path. You see my start? So now I'm able to control the trim of my stroke. Like I said, the reason why it wasn't working was because I had a solid inside of a fill. It won't work, it won't trim that way. But as you can see, it's right there. We can change the end stroke, and so you can imagine those kind of animations where you see like circles just following each other, or maybe like the windows and all that loading stuff. So this kind of how you'll go about that. So as you have that, and you can always offset it, so you can see. Let's see if we can add another advanced property. So let's say corner stroke. We'll go look for corner stroke. We'll change the radius. working. Let's see what else is there. This is twist. So twist is a very interesting one. As you can imagine what the name implies. We can always change the angle. You can see that. Can always change that. Change the center of where the twist is gonna happen. See, even feels like an animation already. It's endless what you can do. You can also, I believe, had a repeater. So what a repeater does is just it kind of multiplies whatever you're working with at that time. So you can see what we had. So if we go to the repeater, we can see that he has 3 copies, which is why we have 3 copies right here. So if we increase it, you can see how much he has, and you can even offset it. It's so crazy how much you can do with this thing. You know what, guys, I'm not gonna go too crazy on you guys. Just try to play around with the shape layer and just see. And that'll be it for shape layer. Like I said, if you have any questions that you don't understand, make sure to drop a comment or DM me, whatever, and I'll be sure to answer your question. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next class.